So this was the beginning of our much awaited Sar Pass trek. Three friends, bags packed, energy high. We had booked our flight from Mumbai to Delhi a good 15 days in advance. Everything seemed set, except literally no one thought of cross-checking the ticket timings. In our heads, the flight was on 13th June at 1:30 p.m. afternoon. Easy, chill, sorted. But destiny had other plans. The actual flight, it was at 1:30 a.m. Yes, midnight. Now cut to the 12th June night. I was buried in office work, like trying to wrap everything up before my week-long leave. My phone battery had died and I didn't even notice. Meanwhile, my friends, they tried calling me at 10:30 p.m. panicking after realizing the timing mistake. But I was completely offline. And just like that, we missed our flight. Now at this point, panic was real. So was the hope of saving the trip. So we took a deep breath, gathered ourselves and decided we were not giving up that easy. We quickly booked another set of flight tickets for the same day, 13th June, this time for the 3:30 p.m. flight. And trust me, we cross-verified the timings like 1,000 times. Departure 3:30 p.m. Afternoon, not AM, not a typo, not a dream. We were triple checking like our life depended on it. Finally, the big day, 13th June. I live pretty far from the airport, so I left home around 10 am, fully geared up for the redemption. At Dombivli station, I met up with Pawan, my childhood buddy. Together, we caught up a local train to Ghatkopar, where we were supposed to meet the third character of this adventure, Sankalpa. Now, here is an interesting twist. Pawan and Sankalpa didn't know each other at all before this trip. I was the mutual link. And remember the flight disaster? That was actually Sankalpa who first caught the mistake. With my phone dead, he had no way of reaching me. So what did he do? He remembered I had once mentioned Pawan's name. That was enough. The man launched a detective mission, found Pawan on Instagram, sent a follow request, and then came the legendary first DM. Hey, Sankalpa here, Sid's friend. And then, bhai, lag gaye, tickets check kar. Yup, that was their grand first conversation, crisis bonding at its finest. Now Sankalpa was supposed to meet us at Ghatkopar at around 12:30. And guess what? He arrives a bit late. And yes, I'll phrase it again, just a bit late. From Ghatkopar, we took the metro to Airport Road station. Everything seemed back on track. Then we hopped into an auto and told the driver to take us to T2 Domestic. But of course, life had other plans. He drops us at T1 instead. Oh my god. The flight was at 3:30 p.m. and we had just 50 minutes left. Sweating, panicking, running around in full Bollywood chase scene mode. We searched for a cab to get to T2. Luckily, we found one. Unluckily, it costed us around 800 rupees for just 3 goddamn kilometers. We rushed to the airport like our lives depended on it. And just when we thought we made it in time, nope, missed it. Again. Yup. Who in their right mind misses 2 consecutive flights for the same trip? But nah, we did. How dumb can we be? At this point, we seriously thought about abandoning the trip. The thought of cancelling everything crossed our minds. All of us felt it. But none of us could afford to let that happen. Our leaves were planned, approved, And this trip was something we were all looking forward to. We were scrambled, rushing through the terminal, trying every possible airline counter. We were desperate, checking for any flight that could get us to Delhi. But I don't know what was happening. The universe just wasn't cooperating. Every flight was either full or so ridiculously expensive it made zero sense. And to make things worse, this wasn't just about catching a flight. Everything hinged on it. Because we had to reach Kasol, the base campsite for the Sar Pass trek. I had already booked our bus tickets from Delhi to Kasol at 8 pm on the same day. With every passing minute, that deadline was slipping away. And at that moment, it truly felt like this whole trip was falling apart. That's when we decided to call the trek agency, the one we booked the Sar Pass trek with. We explained the entire mess, missed flights, broken plans, everything. And we asked them, begged them really, if there was any way we could postpone the trek by one day, and if they could help us arrange alternate flights and bus bookings for us. They agreed, but there was a catch, a cancellation charge. Still, at that point, anything that gave us another shot was worth it. Now everything was riding on their callback. The next flight, the next bus, a second chance. And then, after what felt like the longest hour ever, the phone rang. It was them, and the voice on the other end said, "Booking done." That one line changed everything. But the redemption wasn't over yet. Yes, the new flight tickets were confirmed, but there was one little catch. The flight had a 7-hour layover in Ahmedabad. Yep. For a journey that should have taken 1.5 hours, we were now stuck with a 7-hour detour. And not just anywhere, in Ahmedabad. The same place where that heart-chilling air crash had happened not too long ago. Let's just say the universe wasn't done testing our patience. But finally, by God's grace, everything else from that point went smoothly. We reached Delhi. We caught our bus to Kasol. We made it to base camp. We trekked through some of the most stunning landscapes you've ever seen. It was all worth it, until the last day of descent. Just when the trek was almost over, I slipped on some tree roots. My foot gave way. I fell, and my own trekking pole slammed into my mouth. The impact was so bad, it shattered my tooth in half. The universe had planned a parting souvenir for me. Yep, that was the grand finale. And honestly, even with all the missed flights, layovers, and cracked teeth, I'll do it again.